Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Say, nobody should have been surprised by the rise of the USSR during World War II. There were red flags everywhere.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead now and talk about Ray's top 10 World War II games of all time. I did my top 50 World War II games recently, and he just couldn't wait to share with all of us I asked him to do it. I thought it would be fun to know what his top World War II games are. And we're here with my number one game, War Room, which is so much fun. I love this game, and we just thought we'd put it out here to share the love. Now, Ray, before we jump into your list, let me ask you, would you consider yourself, or have you considered yourself, a war gamer primarily? Do you come from a war gamer background?
No.
No. In fact, about a year ago, when I moved here to the Boise area, and I found Ray passed out behind a Shoney's, and we started playing games together. I think I asked you to come over to play Paths of Glory with me the first time, and I don't know. I had it in my head that you were a war gamer, and so I was thinking, oh, this won't be. Well, Paths of Glory, there's a little complicated, and a World War I game, of course, and but we got through it. We went through it, played it, fun game. So that was I guess your introduction into wargaming, or had you played? I mean, I know you played some lighter war games before.
I played some heavier ones too.
Oh yeah, you have. That's right. Back in the day, that's right. You did way back in the day.
Way back in the early '80s, I played once or twice only, and I don't even remember them. But I played like Panzer Blitz, Squad Leader. I played some of those. I'd always wanted to play them again. Didn't have them. Never had the opportunity. And none of my group ever played war games, so I just never played them.
But then we started playing games together, and you started. All right. Well, let's go ahead. This is Ray's top 10 World War II games. So let's jump right into the list without any further ado. Do you have any honorable mentions, or are we going right to number 10?
So I'm going to throw Panzer Blitz and Squad Leader out there because I had played them, and because of that, I knew about Hex Encounter games.
Okay.
I think I even had copies of them, but I don't know where they went. They just disappeared.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've always wanted to play them. I was always interested in war games, but I was always super intimidated by them. Because I remember when we first started playing games, my wife was like, "Oh, you gaming tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're playing a war game. It's a Hex Encounter game. We'll see how it goes." And I actually fell in love with the games afterwards. I mean, GMT, Worthington, they're all becoming my favorite publishers now. So, but yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see what you got on the list. So let's go ahead and go to number 10.
Honorable mentions.
Oh, honorable mentions.
All right, so I'm going to throw 2 honorable mentions out there.
Okay.
Because they're games I don't own, but I've played them, naturally. Mm-hmm. You have them. Stalingrad, Advance of the Volga, 1942 solo game by Revolution Games. Came out in 2023.
Yeah, just last year.
Yeah.
Great
I borrowed that, played it.
Great game.
Fantastic solo game. It's one that I'm still looking to add to my collection. I just haven't gotten a chance to do it yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the game. But it does need to be in my collection. And the other one is General Orders, World War II by Osprey Games. It also came out in 2023. Small, little fast, 2-player, double-sided. I mean, one side of the map, I don't think I'd ever played. The other side.
No, we played them both.
We did. But no, I don't think I would play that one. I probably almost always play the one side, but it's great. Great.
Worker placement World War II game. Yeah. David Thompson design. I think Trevor Benjamin was on that too. Great game. Great. And I mean, you know what I liked about that one was it was so unusual. I still think somebody said, like to David Thompson, you can't do a worker placement World War II game. And he said, hold my beer. I really think that's how that game came about. Anyway.
Actually, I'm pretty sure he designed that while holding his own beer. For what that game is, it is phenomenal. That's a game that I can definitely throw on the table. I can bash out a game really fast at the end of game night when everybody's left but one other person. Hey, I got 30 minutes. What do you want to do? Right there.
Yeah. And not to move too quickly over Stalingrad, but Stalingrad Advance of the Volga likewise is a phenomenal game. Mike Ranelli, I think his name is, the designer on that. That is one of the best solo games I've played 100%. In a long time. For me, it was only surpassed by his Manila title. But anyway, let's go ahead.
That is actually my number 11.
Oh, okay.
I really had a hard time making it number 11.
Yeah.
I really did. But there's some history on some of these games.
Sure.
There's some
No, I
reasons
got
some
you.
of these
I
games
got
are
you.
on there. And yeah.
All right, let's go ahead. Number 10.
Number 10. My number 10 is a small game. It just came out recently in 2024, earlier this year. Okay. And it's basically going to put you, it's basically along the lines of the some naval battles during World War II. Okay. And it is a game you recently reviewed, but it is Pacific War 1942 Solitaire travel game by Worthington Games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just, yeah. Yeah. Great game. Go ahead. What do you like about it?
The thing I like about that game is, and you might notice a theme to some of my games and some of the stuff that I do in the channel review as well, is I love to do motorcycle trips. So I absolutely love small box games that offer a lot of story, a lot of play that I can take with me. And that game does it hands down. I can play that game over and over and over again. It is very lucky. You have all the dice rolls. Dice hate me, so the chances I'm going to win the game is nil to none. But to me, it is just a really fun game. It's a game that I can bring out anytime, and I can have a football game playing, and I'll play it while I'm watching a football game. Or I'll if my wife's out of town and I'm going to go do something, I mean, I can go to a small pub and I can put it on the table and I can play it. It's a really, really tiny game, and it's fun.
And it's like I say, it's super luck, super dice heavy.
100%.
But it just tells a good story. It's like a States of Siege game in reverse. Instead of protecting a central location, you're advancing on a central location.
And I love States of Siege
yeah.
games.
And it was, I agree. It's just and it's not long at all. 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops. Great game. Great game. We both really like that one. That was on my list. I can't remember where I put that one on my list.
I think it was in the 20-ish range.
Probably, because it's fun. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Game.
More of those. I'm all for it. Yeah.
All right.
Keep them coming.
Pacific War 1942 Solitaire from Worthington. That is your number 10. All right. Number 9.
Number 9. Okay, number 9 is a game we played last year. It's by a company I'd never heard of. Okay. And this one here, I get my games confused, but this one here simulates the Germans trying to take over the Russians, or basically the Russians trying to hold back the German German attack.
Let me guess. Iron Blood, Snow and Mud?
By Phalanx Games 2023.
All right. Iron Blood, Snow and Mud. What do you like about Iron Blood, Snow and Mud?
I absolutely love that game. Oh man, the design of this game is fantastic. The Germans are set up really tight on the edge of the board. The Russians got everything, and they just need to hold off the line. And they need to do everything they can to try to keep the Germans, get them out of supply, break up their lines, prevent them from just everything.
Well, and like the Germans start out so strong.
They do.
But that kind of strategic consumption sets in, and as they advance further and they take losses, they're not replacing them. It's very hard for them to get reinforcements and stuff. Meanwhile, the Soviets start out so weak, but just over time they gradually get more, and then the partisans. The partisans pop up, and one of the things I love about it too is the issues of supply. The German units have to maintain a supply line. Well, if the Soviet player can put partisans to block those supply lines, those units go away. And that's what I think. That's what you did to me.
Yeah, that's totally how I won that game. That game is so fun. Nice little 2-player game. It's not a real long game.
No.
It was
about an hour, maybe a little more than an hour
and a half. Yeah, but it's so much fun.
Yeah,
and there's so much got to think about too, because you even got the boats on the outer side. You got to figure out which one to do with those. You got some planes.
You got air power. Yeah.
Oh, I love that game.
Good stuff.
I love that game.
So that is Iron Blood, Snow and Blood from Phalanx Games. That's your number 9. What is your number 8?
My number 8 is another game we recently played earlier this year. Okay. It is part of a game system that I should have played years and years and years ago and never ever did. And it is a 2-player only game.
No, okay, that's not
okay.
Oh, hang on. I think.
All right. Okay. Trying to manage your supply lines on various islands.
A Guadalcanal.
Guadalcanal.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Now, Axis and Allies Guadalcanal is republished by Renegade Game Studios, but it was originally published in 2007.
Oh, yeah.
So,
by Avalon Hill.
Now, if I remember right, Axis and Allies Guadalcanal was the first Axis and Allies game I played with. No, we played Europe. We played the.
We played Access Knowledge Europe.
We played the Europe one, the bigger
Europe
the bigger
1940.
Heavy. Yeah, that was, believe it or not, that was my first introduction into Axis and Allies, and it took a little bit. That was intimidating for me. But when we played Guadalcanal, I thought Guadalcanal was just fantastic. 2-player, small map, and it's you know what you need to do. You know what you need to go for, and I like the smaller versions of Axis and Allies.
And for me too, I do love the emphasis on supply and logistics and setting up the airfields. And I thought that was really well done. And I hadn't, because that, like I said, that came out in 2007. That was back in my heyday. I was playing a lot of Axis and Allies back then, but I never played Guadalcanal for one reason or another. It was one I never picked up. And I'm kicking myself now because it's like quickly become one of my favorites. It's really a good version of Axis and Allies.
I'm so glad that I've played that one.
Yeah,
because I love that game.
And I liked, and for me, like in most Axis, like the global Axis and Allies and the bigger ones, maps of the world. Some of my favorite stuff is always a naval battle between the United States and Japan. And I like this because it's a naval game. It's a naval centered game, and they do it very, very well.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Very good.
So that is Axis and Allies, Guadalcanal. That's from Renegade Game Studios. And that was for your number 7.
That was my number 8.
That was your number 8. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at your number 7.
Okay, my number 7 game is a game that I played a long time ago, early 2000s. Well, early 2008, 2008, something like that. Okay, now it is a game. It's an airplane game.
Okay,
and it is a game that has inspired some really popular games. They used that to build on some other very popular miniatures flying games.
Oh yeah, Wings of Glory.
Wings of War.
Wings of War. Wings of Glory is the World War One.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wings of War. All right.
So Wings of War. Now I'm including there Dawn of World War II and Fire in the Sky. So those are both by Fantasy Flight Games, and the original that I saw, it came out in 2007.
Okay.
All right. Now this is back when it was just little miniature cards. So that's all you had. Now the thing I played this a ton with a bunch of my friends back in the day, and we just had so much fun playing this. I mean, you had your plane. It wasn't 3D. It was just flat cards on a 3x3 map.
Yeah.
You put your plane down. But the cool thing I liked about it was the World War II was a little easier than the World War I, because in World War II you had to pre-program what your moves were going to be, and you had a deck of cards, and you could only play them in certain areas. So it's like you couldn't do an Emmelman and instantly go into a hard bank turn or something. So you had to be very careful. But you couldn't fly off the map, and it's just flying around. And I mean, some of the most popular games, like Star Wars,
the X-Wing,
Star Wars X-Wing,
and then Armada is a variation on that.
Yeah, all of those came. Crimson Sky was kind of based off that a little bit, or I think Crimson Sky might have come out before it.
I don't know.
And I think this might have been from Crimson Sky, but no, Wings of War. I have all the World War I. I have all the World War II. We played this to death. I have all the expansions. I just loved it. I don't need miniatures. I don't nothing. Just give me the cards. It's just that programming. That program movement was so good.
I've got, because right up there, I've got a few of the Wings of Glory, the World War I Wings of Glory stuff right up there.
And that's in Wings of Glory. They had the miniatures. So at the end of the era for Wings of War, they started coming out with the miniatures.
Okay.
You can buy all the individual planes. Yeah. I bought a couple of them. We used them here and there, but no, I just played it with the cards.
No,
I loved it with the cards.
No,
just love the game.
I love the system. It's a great system with the cards as templates and stuff like that for maneuver. I think they're tremendous fun. Like I said, I haven't played that one. I've just played the Wings of Glory, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I don't know if they kept the pre-programmed flights in for Wings of Glory. I don't know if you remember.
It's been a long time since I played it.
See, and that's what I liked about it. Planes weren't as responsive back then, so you had to like, oh, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Oh, crud! The guy moved the wrong direction.
Right.
So sometimes it made you're flying around trying to find the guy, but I mean that's just what flying was back then.
Yeah. So. No, but it's a great system. That is Wings of War. Yes. That was from Fantasy Flight
Games,
and that was
2007. That was my number 7.
Okay,
that was my number 7.
Let's do your number 6.
All right, my number 6 is here's another theme recently played. Okay. Now this is a game that now I'm not a history buff.
Okay.
I have a hard time remembering anything with history, but I really absolutely love the theme of this particular game. Okay. Because it has to do with the USSR and Finland.
Oh, yes. That's,
all right.
You know it. Freezing Inferno.
Freezing Inferno by Princeps Game from 2023.
Yeah.
I actually never even heard I didn't even know that World War II story until you told me about it. And then when we actually played the game, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The game was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a great game.
That game was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, so one of the things I really like about this game is you can do the predetermined setups that they have in the back. They have in the back of the book. They have so many different.
What I like is you can each pick like a setup card, and then you just do it. So it's kind of a blind setup where you don't know what the other person's going to set up. So I thought that was fantastic.
Oh, it was totally good. And then you know what your objectives are. You had to so. USSR had to hold their different objectives, or no, Finland had to hold their objectives.
Finland had to hold objectives.
And Russia had to go in and try to take them, and it was it's just a really great system. I thought the combat was really good. I like the way they utilized the airplanes in it, so the airplanes can actually, if there was battles going on, they can actually go help reinforce those battles.
Well, you know what I liked about it too is the command and control stuff. How you had to have a headquarters near you, and you can take out the headquarters and it halves the effectiveness of the units, or it screws the units. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it screws the units somehow. And you did that to me because I was USSR and I was advancing on you, and you took out my headquarters, and then it becomes a slog because I was moving pretty quickly, and then
you got to rebuild the headquators, try to get it.
Try to get into the position. And
Now the cool thing I did like about it, and I get my games mixed up every now and then, but that one there had that really unique combat board. So if you're doing ground combat or if you're doing flying combat, you had to use a different board. So based on the number, what the strength power is of what's coming in,
you have the tables,
versus the defense, and you kind of went down the table, and it was just a really, really, totally unique combat system. And I know they came out with a different game, came out this year that utilizes that same system.
The Culkin Gull, which is right over there. We got to hit that one here before too long.
And I'm really interested in that one because of this.
And
I love the system.
No, it's a great hex encounter game. It's really just a fantastic hex encounter game.
It is.
It's also got something of Axis and Allies in there with the way the economy works, because you capture stuff, you get more resources that then you can use to purchase more units, and the way with the money and stuff kind of remind me a little bit of Axis and Allies. But on the whole, and I like the way you, I can't remember what it was, but it's like you'd count the lead number of attack, but then it was all the other units in the stack would add one to it. I can't remember exactly how it was, but I remember it was really interesting.
Oh, it was
the way you treat them.
It was so unique.
And I am looking forward to Culkin Gull. Now, when I did the Great Purge of a few months ago, unfortunately, that was a game I set aside. And one of the reasons I set aside is I knew Culkin Gull was coming. And just from a thematic standpoint, I was maybe a little more excited for that one. But I also knew when I set it aside and I told Ray he can have whatever he wants, I knew he would grab that one. So it's still available if we want to get it out again.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Great game.
Fantastic.
That is Princep's game. Culkin Gull came out last year. That is your
Freezing Inferno.
Freezing Inferno. Thank you. Freezing Inferno. That came out last year, and that is your number 6.
Number 6.
All right. Number 5.
All right. Number 5. So number 5 is kind of an interesting game. It can be played solo or cooperative. It's a campaign style game, but it's not be thematically historical, but it's not realistic historical.
Okay.
I don't even know how to describe this game. I'm just gonna go Escape from Stalingrad.
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of a fantastic war game.
It's a fantasy World War II, but it's set in World War II with zombies.
Yeah. Battle of Stalingrad, German soldiers, Russian soldiers, and wouldn't you know it, the darn undead show up.
I know. It's World War II, so I love this game. This game is
fun.
It's so fun. I mean, it's a campaign game, so every page of the book's going to be a little bit different.
It's got a flip book that's got the different maps in it for you and stuff.
And it is tough.
It is hard again.
It's
a hard game,
but it is fun. It is. I mean, it's a great game solo. It's a great game cooperative. It's just all around good. I still have it. It's just sitting right on the edge of my table. It's one I want to put out because I want to finish the campaign and I want to keep going through it. But it is so good.
It is. It's I like it because it's a war game. It really, it's not a hex encounter war game, but it's a war game because you got the different equipment, the stats of the different guns and stuff like that. You've got range. You've got it pretty much plays out like a war game. In every a tactical war game in most ways, but you have this supernatural element there. I actually don't think I included this on my top 50. Maybe I did.
You did.
Did I include it?
Nope, that was there.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I included it or not.
Yeah,
but it was it's a great game. It's a great.
it's fun. And the thing I like about it too is
Solitaire game. Solitaire
great.
game.
It's not it's not like your big squads, but it's just your individual people.
Yeah.
So it's a World War II game that's going to get your individual guys. They're going to be running around. They're trying to get the equipment, do what you need to do to try to get out, try to escape.
And I like too how in the book it's like you can escape here, turn to this page, or escape here, turn to this page, or this. It's almost kind of a choose your own adventure feel to it.
Where you go, what you do affects your next game. It's a fun little story, but super hard. Super hard.
It is. All right, so that is Escape from Stalingrad Z. That's Raybox Games.
Raybox Games.
That was what year?
23.
23? Okay, and that was your number
5.
5. Okay. Number 4.
Number 4 is another game we played recently. Super big theme right here, okay? Being as I don't play any of these games without you, really. But this is a scenario-based cooperative game that deals with the Dutch resistance.
Oh, yeah. Dutch resistance. Orange Shell Overcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
By Liberation Games from 2023.
All right, what do you like about this one?
Oh my gosh. The story, the way the story was written in this game and the way it plays out is absolutely fantastic. It's basically a pick up and deliver game.
Yeah.
Okay. But every time you want to do something, you go between one town and another. You run into a patrol of whether it's the soldiers, whether it's the police.
Yeah.
You know, the other person's got to grab a card. They're going to read a story. They know what all your answers are, and you're working together cooperatively. And they know what your answers are, but they can't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
It is just such a really, really unique mechanic. And the other mechanic I really like about this game is every character you play, you got a hand of, I believe if I remember right, it's 3 cards.
Yeah.
I think so. At the beginning of the turn, you have to draw a 4th card from the bad deck. So you are going to have 1 bad card, and that's what's going to happen at the end of your round. Mm-hmm. So you have to utilize that. And sometimes you're like, you know what? I have to do this. This bad stuff's going to happen, but I cannot tell my opponent or I can't tell the other person what this card's going to do. I'm going before him, and I'm going to play this card, and then it totally screws them up. Yeah. So you have to kind of look at what they're doing. You have to try to figure out what you're doing, figure out how to get around this nasty card that's in your hand, and hope you can guess right on the story card.
And you know what's interesting for me is generally in cooperative games, I don't like hidden information when you can't tell other people stuff. Usually that's something I don't care for. But it's great here. It works here.
It's done so good.
And I like too the deal where you go to the different locations and it raises the suspicion level. And you're trying to keep the suspicion level down in each of the locations, you know, or there'll be a raid, and if there's a raid, and man, it's very thematic, very immersive, you know. And I believe, if memory serves, I think a lot of the people are based on actual Dutch resistance members.
I think all of them are.
Yeah, so I mean, it's great history lesson. In addition to being a fun World War II era game.
I love it when they take actual people or actual groups and they can actually put them into the actual game.
Yeah.
And so you're playing this person who was alive and doing this exact thing.
Well, you know what was cool too is like in Black Orchestra when they do that with the resistance members, and you know I wrote part of my thesis about the German army and when all that went down. So it was kind of neat to actually play that in game form, you know. But I agree, Dutch Resistance, Orange Shell Overcome, fantastic game. And that is your number 4.
That is my number 4. Liberation Games. 23,
right.
And really looking forward to the expansion that's coming out.
Oh, I didn't know that. They got an expansion coming out?
They did a Kickstarter for it, and they got an expansion
maybe I did know that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay, and I guess I did know about it. I just forgot about it, but that's awesome. We'll have to check that out.
Oh, 100%.
All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at your number 3.
All right, my number 3 game. Okay, I'm actually going to take several games. This is probably going to hint it out a whole bunch for you. I'm taking several games in the series, and I'm lumping them all together because I really can't decide which one I like better or worse. Okay, but they're all relatively new.
I already think I know what it is, but keep going.
And it is deck building in a World War II game.
Undaunted.
It's 100% Undaunted.
Yeah.
It's Battle of Britain, North Africa, Stalingrad, Normandy, all from 2019 to 2023, and it just did the whole group.
Have you played Stalingrad?
I have not played Stalingrad yet.
Okay.
But so
I know you played the others, but I didn't know if you
playing Normandy and up. It's like every game of Undaunted that comes out just makes the game that much better. I have not seen them make the game worse. Even when we played, what was it, 2022?
Oh, Callisto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
With the elevation and stuff, it's so good.
Game better.
And for my 2 cents, I know we've discussed this. Best way to play it is the 4-player.
I agree
with the reinforcements pack.
I agree.
That's and I'll play that game any version, 2 players, anytime, anywhere you want. But my preferred player count is the 4-player game with the reinforcements pack.
I agree. The 4-player, hands down, I think is the best. But just playing a 2-player, it's just so unique. It's just a fast game.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really take that long to play it once you really know how to play it. The setup with the tiles and stuff like that can sometimes be a little daunting. It can take a little while to get it set up.
Yeah,
sometimes. Yeah. But it's just a fun game. It's just a really fun, and it's a unique deck builder. It's
when that game first came out, I had people constantly leaving comments and emailing me and stuff saying, Cody, you gotta play Undaunted Normandy. You gotta play. And I remember thinking to myself, well, it sounds fun. It sounds like it could be a good game. Sure. Yeah. And then I can't remember. I can't remember if I reached out to them or they contacted me. I can't remember what happened there. But they sent it to me. I'm like, oh, this looks like this could be fun. And the first game I played, I'm like, holy crap! Why did I wait? This is so good. No, I agree. The Undaunted games are just phenomenal. Again, my wife and I, we are 2/3 of the way through the Stalingrad campaign. There's 15 games. We're 10 games into it. We got to finish that up. And the Stalingrad game is fun because it's got a lot of surprises and unique things that you got to play it at some point too.
Oh no, yeah, I absolutely totally plan on it. I was actually going to play him solo. I've heard pros and cons on the solo mode. Some people like it, some people don't. Man, I was reading a story or an article on a forum just yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone was playing Stalingrad and they just raved about it. They absolutely loved it. So
solo on Stalingrad?
May not have been.
No,
it was one of them.
There's not a solo.
Oh, okay.
I think the solo is just Normandy and North Africa.
Oh, I think so.
I think. I don't think the others have.
I can't remember.
But I'll tell you this. So Dave Thompson, kind of before they announced it, he told me about reinforcements, and he told me it was going to have a solo mode and a 4-player mode. And when he told me that, I remember thinking to myself, I'm not that interested in the 4-player mode. I'm really excited for the solo mode. And when I actually played it, like I said, I fell in love with the 4-player mode, and I thought, oh, this is the solo mode? This is, yeah. I was not a fan of the solo mode, which is really disappointing, but I'm just,
I'm going to check it out.
I mean, it's not horrible. It's just, there's other Solitaire games I'd rather play.
Yeah.
So. All right, so you're doing the Family of the Undaunted games. That was your number 3. That is from Osprey Games. I think the first one was 2019? 2019. All right, that's your number 3. What is your number 2?
Okay, so my number 2 is actually one that we've actually mentioned it tonight, believe it or not. And it actually utilizes actual people in Germany.
Oh, Black Orchestra. Yeah.
Black Orchestra, Game Salute 2016. So Black Orchestra is one of those games. I remember when it first came out, I looked at it and went, that game looks really good.
Yeah.
And it's a cooperative game. And cooperative games are some of my favorite games to play. That's one of my favorite genres. I absolutely love cooperative games. But I didn't get it. Well, then a friend of mine came over to my house and goes, hey, I got this game. We need to play it. It's Black Orchestra. And I'm like, dude, I haven't looked at it before. Bring it. We got done playing that game. He left. I jumped online. I bought the game. I bought every expansion for the game, and I had it delivered the next week. And I've played that game so many times.
Yeah,
I absolutely love Black Orchestra.
And we haven't played that together, though.
We never have
played that together. But that is a great game.
It is so fun. It's kind of got some pick up and deliver aspects to it because you got to try to find the plots. Get over those, and you got to find
the equipment, the items,
the equipment, everything
stuff,
you need. Yeah. Then you go do the assassination, but then you can hope you can keep the levels down low enough to where you can attempt at your assassination. Meanwhile, you got your 7 decks of cards that are just murdering you. People getting thrown in prison.
Gestapo's coming out. No, I agree. It's a great cooperative game. I heard about that game, and like I say, I had written something about that in my master's thesis, and so I was really excited when I heard about that game. But I couldn't find it. It was one of those games. It was just when it first came out, it was like a ghost. You couldn't find it anywhere. And I remember I went to SaltCon. It was like the first or second time I went to SaltCon, and Holly and I went there just together the first night, and then George, her husband, he came was going to come in the next night. I think Sean was coming the next night. So it was just Holly and I were there the first night, and I saw it. I'm "Oh, we gotta play this." And she was a good sport, and so we were learning it together, and we kind of played some things wrong, but we had a lot of fun with it. I was instantly impressed. I still couldn't find it anywhere, and then when I was down in Texas, then it was Starling Games was publishing it, and they actually sent me a copy, and I fell in love with it. It was great game. Let me ask you one question about Black Orchestra, though, because this always comes up whenever you discuss it.
Huh?
Some people are of the opinion. Some people say that it's anticlimactic, right? That it all ultimately comes down to one die roll. And some people, I've heard a lot of people go on and say, it's a fun game, but it's just it falls apart at the end because it's just, oh, we got the die roll or we didn't. What do you think?
The die roll doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
If we win, if we lose, I don't really care. The journey from the start of the game till what happens at the end of the game. Now, ultimately, you got to try to mitigate what your chances of that die roll are. If you can keep it low, if the cards are in your favor, you can keep it low. You know you're going to win.
Right.
Yeah, sweet, we won. But when you look at what happened from here to here, there are so many moments in here that you're like, oh, yeah, no, nah. I mean, you're all over the place. Sweat's coming down.
I agree.
You're getting up. You're pacing around the table. Black Orchestra is one of the best stories in any game in my collection, and I have a big collection.
Yeah. I agree.
I absolutely love the journey to get there. It is the one game that I don't care what that final journey is.
Yeah.
Because I experienced the path.
Yeah.
And that's why Black Orchestra is on my list.
I agree. In fact, I think I've literally typed up it's about the journey in answering some people's comments about that game. Fantastic game. Okay. So that is Black Orchestra, and it was Starling Games when I got it. Who have you got down as the publisher?
Game Salute.
Game Salute, yeah, because I think Game Salute and Starling, I think that was the same.
Yeah, I think
it was Dan Yarborough was doing that.
I think so.
And that originally came out in what?
2016.
2016. Okay, and that's your number 2.
Yeah, now, and I think mine's the second edition. That's the only reason I was able to find it, because we got into it second edition.
Mine's not the first edition. I know that, but I think mine.
All right.
Okay, now your number 1. Now I think I know what it is, without any hints. Okay, do you want to lead up to it, or do you want me to say what I think it is?
I got a story for it, but I'll let you say what it is.
Memoir 44.
Hands down.
All right, go ahead.
Hands down. Okay, Memoir 44. Is it the best war game out there? No. Is it the most fun war game out there? No. But, okay, it is my dad's favorite game. My dad is like, if I remember right, I think he's 78 years old. He was a Green Beret in Vietnam. And he loves to play board games, and we used to play some train games. Crayon rail games, Empire Builder, stuff like that. He came over to my house one day, and I'm like, Dad, I have a game for you. Let's play. I want to play this World War II game. I want to know what you think about it. And so I put Memoir 44 on the table, and we played. And he's like, sweet, let's do it again. Okay, we went second mission. Played it. Let's do it again. And we've played through the entire base game. We played through, I think we're in is it the Eastern Front with Russia? Mm-hmm. Where I think we got one more game left to do with Russia. I think we're 48 games into it. I went with my family a year ago on a cruise, and my dad's sitting there on the deck with me going, bring Memoir 44. Sorry, Dad. Didn't want to bring it on the boat. I love Memoir 44. I played a ton of Memoir 44 before I even played this with my dad. But to sit there and play this game across from my father and just looking at the smile on his face, even though every time he goes to attack me, it's like, what do I need to hit that guy? I've told you 200 times, Dad. You roll 3 dice. I don't care. I'll keep telling him over and over and over again. I have all the box expansions for it. I think next in line is Japan, and we're just going down the line. I try to get to the table. Sometimes we go months before we can ever play again. Yeah. But my dad loves this game. My experience playing this game with my dad is so good. No other game tops it. It's not my number 1 game of all time, but it's my number 1 war game that I get to play, and it's because I get to play it with my dad. And that's hands down best way to end it.
And any game, no matter how good the game is only as good as the people you play with. Right?
100%.
That's why I love Solitaire so much.
He gets mad at himself.
Now that's great, and your story there, that is awesome. Now, I put Memoir 44 on my list pretty high up. It would have been much higher if we're just talking about the two-player game, but we recently had a very cool experience with the Overlord scenario. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, luckily, I got to be involved in this. So, Cody was planning on, with his students in his school, playing Overlord. I've always wanted to play it, but I never had 8 people to play the game. Okay, because you need 4 per side. All right. Now, Overlord it's essentially 3 by 3. Okay, you have the double board, and then you have your commanders on the back. Now, the cool thing about it is the commander gets the cards, and he gets to determine which one of the 3 he's going to give cards to. Okay, and he's going to be able to talk to that person and kind of talk about his strategies. A second person he gets to give cards to, but those are going by courier. He can't say a word to him. And then a third person that gets totally screwed. Now, that person, if he wants to, he can roll the dice. And if the dice comes up in his favor, he can do whatever he wants, regardless of what he thinks the commander. So he's basically just going to break rank, and he's just going to go do whatever he wants to do anyways. So it adds the theme across all your guys. So all the guys are involved one way or another. And it was the most amazing experience, Memoir 44, I played. I mean, I love playing this game with my dad. And I know my dad would never be able to play that version.
Yeah.
But it is such a unique experience to play this game that it's like, I mean, you got 8 people standing at this table just screaming and hollering. And I mean, the talk back and forth in this table. And it's just, it's the tug of war in trying to get this to work. My card's going to work over here. I haven't given this guy a card in 3 turns. He's getting pissed at me.
Yeah.
But yet at the same time, then you finally go to him and this guy's like, dude, you've been helping me now. What do I do? I'm like, no, you're on your own. It's like,
and it's hard too. It's hard too when you're watching it. And it's like, you need to make headway on one front. You can see the opportunities on one front, but you don't have the cards for it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of writ large, just the 2-player game of Memoir 44, because you got essentially 2 boards side by side, right? But then, like you say, when you really want to, or when you're reinforcing somebody with cards, and then one guy saying, I'm trying to do something here, and you're not letting me, and then just that whole communication and trying to get the cards to where they need to be. It's just great fun. It is so much fun.
And the other part that's really cool is, I'll give cards to this guy down here in the end. And I'm like, this is the perfect card. I know I want him to do this. This guy might need a little more help for one reason or another. I got other strategies for him. So I give him this card hoping he's going to do this. He does something totally different. I'm like, no. Yeah. And you can't say anything to the guy. And you're just ripping out your hair, whatever you have left. And it's just, it's so fun.
And I played the United States Army on D-Day. You played the dirty Germans. And unfortunately, the Third Reich held the beaches. So
we did.
Yeah.
But it literally came down to the very end. It was
you had that card that I can't remember what it did, but you had one card that you played yourself.
Yes,
that was like an artillery barrage or something. I can't remember what it was.
It allowed us to win, but it was that game. We had such a commanding lead for most of that game, and then all of a sudden it started falling apart. And you came up and we're like, oh my gosh, you're going to win this game. And then I happened to draw the card I needed, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, one of the guys did a thing where he tried to move right up against somebody, but then he couldn't shoot. Whereas if he had just moved once and shot, we could have won it. But so he screwed that up. We're like, all right, whatever. And then it's like the next turn, I think you pulled that thing, and man, and it was fun. That was just a few hours of just absolute joy. That was so good.
It proves that sometimes some of the best games are the most simple games.
That's true. Very true.
Not simple.
Oh, this is simple. This is not a hard game at all. It's a long game. It's very long.
No, but no. Memoir 44 to me, it's a very simple, very basic game. It's not super. It's super easy to teach, but I mean, I can have so much fun with that with a group, and I can have a ton of fun of that with my dad.
Yeah,
it's so easy to play.
That is Memoir 44. That's Days of Wonder. That was 2004.
2007.
2007.
2004.
2004. So we're 20 years old. I'm surprised they didn't do like a 20-year edition, anniversary edition, because they did anniversary editions for like Ticket to Ride and stuff. So I would have thought they would have done that. And they're doing, just shifting gears here a little bit, they're doing a 20th anniversary Twilight Struggle from GMT Games too. it's going to be pretty interesting.
Cool.
So.
You have fun with that. Oh, no. It's a good game.
All right. So that is Ray's top 10 World War II games of all time. Do you have any other comments or anything else you'd like to say about these?
I don't. I will say this. I mean, when I started playing World War II games, I was so intimidated. And I've played a lot of games. I've played heavy Lacerda games. I've played super light party games. I've played all of them. So, but when I started playing some of these Hex Encounter games, I was so intimidated by them.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite games of all time was Duel of Ages 2, which is basically no more than a Hex Encounter game.
Yeah.
If you really look at it.
It is. I mean, Brett said it's a war game, right?
Yeah. And so once we started sitting down and actually playing these games, and I got through the first couple games and realized how they were, I'm like, oh, they're really not that bad. So I'm glad we started playing together because you've totally introduced me to a genre of games I never would have played and is actually becoming one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I absolutely love playing Hex Encounter games.
And I was just going to say, and we together just started playing the coin games, which we're really loving. And hopefully we're going to play more. Got some more right over there. We're looking forward to playing. So.
Yep.
All right.
Couple today.
Well, Ray, thank you so much for joining us for this little look at your favorite World War II games. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, we ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, give us a thumb here on YouTube, give us a thumb on Board Game Geek. We really appreciate that. And leave comments here on Facebook, on Twitter, all that good stuff. I'd ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history, books on history, fun things like that. It would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to that channel as well. And if you do really like the kind of content we bring to you here on the channel, I humbly ask you to click on the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. You know, the Germans were initially very confounded by General Eisenhower's strategy. But then a pattern started emerging. I've got 2, 1 hit. I've got 1, 2.
See, I don't want to lose him.
You can take 1 hit on the battleship.
Oh, okay. Battleship can take 2 hits.
Yep. Okay, so I've got 1, 2.
And he has to be the last.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for 3. 2 hits.
Okay. I think we're just going to take
1, 2, 3, 4.
1 there, and we'll probably just have to take the battleship out.
You probably want that's most expensive. I'd probably take out.
I thought about it's a French
Because he can repair. You know.
Yeah, but
you're
also rolling 4. You need 4 4s. We need 4s or less.
Yeah.
4 dice.
I got 4 and 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Which is 1, 2.
Yeah, you're gone.
It takes 2.
So go ahead.
1, 2, and then my third is this guy right here.
Yeah. So go ahead. You got 1 at 2.
Okay.
Miss. You've got 2 at 3.
3.
1 hit, and I will take that on my battleship. And then you've got
1 at 4.
Yep. And I'll lose this up.
Okay.
I guess I thinned you out the first time. Holy crap!
My lone soldier, baby. Okay. Give me a 1. Give me a 1. He killed 1 guy. He's happy. Now he can die in peace.